Uh-oh. What happened to my monitor? Uh-oh. Did it go out? Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry about that. Hey, everybody. Welcome. We have an very urgent live stream that has been initialized on the Palisades fire burning in Southern California. This is near Santa Monica. This is near Malibu. I'm very familiar with this area near Zuma Beach. This fire is really growing it very, very quickly. We will give you some live weather updates on this too. We're going to be live on this for about an hour because I have my primetime video release. If necessary, we'll have to extend our live coverage, but I'm going to do an update on what we're seeing right now here. Very serious wildfire burning right now, and as we go to Twitter, this was an unexpected live stream, so I'm sorry if I'm jumping all over the place here. So see if we can get updates on the Palisades fire. So actually, you know what? Let's go to Fire Watch, because Watch Duty, that's what we want, because Watch Duty will give us an update here. So this is the Palisades fire that has broken out northwest of Santa Monica. Already fancy, this is already up to almost 1,300 acres, and this was updated 4 minutes ago. So already up to 1,400 acres. This is growing at a very rapid rate. At one point earlier today, it grew maybe an hour or two ago. The fire grew nearly 500 acres an hour. So this fire is growing exceptionally fast right now. Pacific Palisades, this whole red area is the area that's gotten burned already. All these houses too, look at this, Brendan. All these houses are in the line of fire with this. This is a life-threatening situation unfolding on the Palisades fire as we speak. There are evacuation orders, level 3. That means you need to evacuate now. Do not wait. Doesn't surprise me if this actually becomes a firestorm tonight because of the increasing offshore winds that are anticipated tonight. Right, Brendan?
Which is very concerning because the environment is currently now it's dealing with some really strong as well. Very low relative. And David, Cal Fire, we can talk more about. My concern is that they're not going to be able to keep up with it. We're going to go into nightfall. If we're going to the nightfall, it makes it a lot more challenging. But not only that, David, you talk about a firestorm. I think the biggest concern that I have is long-range fire spot, right? We have really, really strong winds like we're expected to really amplify tonight to tomorrow morning. What that tells me is that a lot of these embers, they can travel up to several, if not dozens of miles away from the original site of the fire, meaning that we could be seeing fires break out downstream of the current Palisades fire. And that's very concerning.
Brendan.
Yeah.
I forgot. I literally forgot. It's my fault. That I forgot to enable the desktop audio. I had turned that off for my video on the winter storm that's coming up for the middle of this week. I had some weird computer issues where I get notifications and they interrupt my video.
I was silent the entire time, wasn't I?
Yeah, so just repeat yourself. I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, I'll shorten up what I was saying anyway. Basically for those folks that didn't hear, which is pretty much all of you, um, me and David were talking before the live stream tonight, just talking through the what's ahead for folks that live in these areas, but not just that, but Cal Fire, the fire folks that are going to have to fight a tough fight throughout tonight into the overnight. And David, you mentioned it, the firestorm idea, that this could turn into a firestorm tonight because we haven't even seen the best environment yet. That's the most disturbing part. We're expecting winds to continue to increase throughout the overnight into tomorrow morning for these same areas. And so my concern is not just the idea of a firestorm, but what we call long range spotting. And for those folks that aren't familiar, because there's many of you here that may not be susceptible or aware of the metrics or the mechanics that go into wildfire forecasting, long range spotting is the idea that under certain conditions, embers from a fire can travel several, if not dozens of miles away from the original fire. So that includes, in this case, folks downstream that may or may not be under evacuation orders right now. That doesn't mean they're necessarily out of the woods, no pun intended. They could still experience fire, even if dozens of miles away from the original source, right? And that doesn't happen very often. And David knows this. He's lived in California pretty much all his life. He's familiar with wildfire and what it takes, right? And all the ingredients that go into it. David, even you'll agree with me, long-range fire spotting is only something you see on some of the most significant events in California history, right?
Exactly.
So we could be talking about an event as definitely up there, God forbid, as one of the most catastrophic wildfires we have seen. I dare say since camp, but of course we have had wildfires between now and then.
And that's the concern here. Also, Brendan, if you, when I play this image closely, you can see a lot of the trees leaning over. Like, let's just look before the smoke, and you can see some of these trees leaning way over as that powerful offshore wind moves through, showing us just how powerful these winds actually are. Probably sustained here over 30 to 40 miles an hour. Could even be close
Easily.
to 50.
Yeah.
And
and go ahead.
And
Sorry, David.
I wanted to show them the satellite image too, because
Sure.
another person brought this up earlier. Let's see here. I think it's this imagery. Yeah, this does it better, I think. Yeah. Look at very closely in the high deserts, folks. Also for you too, Brendan. That's not smoke. Those are not wildfires. You know what that all is in the high deserts?
What?
That's blowing dust. That's a dust storm.
Wow.
You can see.
Wow.
You can see these little trails. That's blowing dust. That's that offshore wind increasing over the high desert. Once that transpires and gets into these into this area within the next, say, 4 to 6 hours, it's going to be game on. And I want to bring this to your attention too, Brendan. The National Weather Service, do they rarely use this wording? This is an exceptionally extreme offshore wind event with wind gusts that could surpass speeds of 100 miles an hour. Some of the peak wind gusts through some of these canyons, right where this fire is burning, could reach speeds of 100, maybe 80 to 100, maybe 120 miles an hour. And that is just obliteration right there. That is just catastrophic.
Yeah, and David, I'll add to it. And again, I wanted to stress with the viewers too. We're certainly not here to fearmonger. I've known David for about now what, David, 5 years. Gosh, it's been a long time. Him and I have been friends. So I can tell you that, David and myself, we're certainly not here to fearmonger. We're not here to hype up. This is not our wording. This is the wording of the National Weather Service. All right. And one of the things the Weather Service even said out of LA Oxnard this morning and even this afternoon, not only is this a red flag warning, for one, these red flag warnings are PDS
which particularly dangerous situation, you don't see those very often. Yes, you would think that PDS is typically associated with tornado watches, tornado warnings. No, this is a red flag PDS. I mean, that should really tell you it's only reserved for the most conducive environments for rapid wildfire spread. The other thing that the Weather Service also pointed out, David, is that they made the argument, and I think this is already verified, by the way, that this windstorm, just the windstorm by itself, rivals the windstorm of 2011.
Oh
Right?
yeah. Oh
So
gosh, yeah.
this is definitely, like a 1 in 10, 1 in 15 year event that we're seeing right now. And David, I guess I'll punt a question to you because I'm curious about this. Um, do we know any updates from Cal Fire on containment? I'm sure nothing's contained, but
So
any updates from Cal Fire?
So this is based on the Watch Duty, which they're partnered through Cal Fire. So the
Okay.
Palisades.
Palisades.
See, there's a little tongue twister word. Trying to get
You're
it
good.
out of my brain here. So Palisades Fire is up to 1,300 acres. We round up the 261 to about roughly 1,300 acres. Containment is dashed out, so it's 0% contained, and it is
Yeah.
very active right now. As of 13 minutes ago, let's see here, school information. So as of 44 minutes ago from Cole Erkin, the staff reporter, which manages the whole operations of this firefight. So Palisades Charter Elementary School and Martinez Charter Elementary School will relocate to Brentwood Elementary Science Management at 740 Greta Greenway, Los Angeles, California. So these are schools being relocated because of the mass evacuations in progress downstream of the Palisades fire. Let's see here. I don't think Hellfire has any new information.
Yeah, and David, I'm not surprised. I don't think you should be surprised either. I was just curious if they had any tweets out, but I wouldn't think so because this is active in real time and they're all hands on deck. And I'll just add this, guys, and David, for you, this is really a race against time for Cal Fire and local authorities. And this is they're in a really difficult spot right now because, as we've already talked about, conditions are not getting any better. They're getting worse.
Oh, way worse.
And because we've already had the initial ignition near the Palisades, you put that initial ignition in an even more conducive and rapidly deteriorating environment over time, especially into the overnight and into dawn, right? That is going to be incredibly challenging to fight. So, of course, our thoughts and prayers are with not just the folks that are impacted, but even the first responders. It is an incredibly challenging thing. It's, of course, a life-threatening situation for all involved. And, of course, we'll continue to monitor this. I know, David, you mentioned it won't be live the entire time, but, we want to make sure we get out the information in real time too. But I got to say, David, I'm very concerned for what's going to happen into the overnight tonight. It's quite alarming.
Yeah, I'll be live at least until 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock tonight. But I have this really interesting image. By the way, please share this with your family and friends, all right? Because I rarely cover California events like Santa Ana winds or fire events, but this is on an extraordinary level. I mean, if I didn't have school, if I didn't have work, I would literally drive my butt down. I would have driven down to Southern California early this morning, probably even last night, and get down there ahead of this and film the whole wind event and potentially film this fire from a distance, because this is catastrophic. Not only that, if you look at the imagery here, Brendan, look what is going on in the mountains here. Not just the cloud cover, but look below the cloud cover as I kind of forward this. And let me go over the last 48 frames. Look at the dust. You can see the dust blowing off of the San Gabriel Mountains. I mean,
that's a bad sign, David. Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry. No, I was just saying it's a bad sign of what's to come. Like you were saying.
And boy, that pressure gradient. Yeah, that gradient. That's
Yeah, that's something else.
very. We have a 1,006 millibar low in Arizona, and then to the north, like in Nevada, northern Nevada, and Idaho, we have a 1,040 millibar surface high. So that is a very tight gradient. And so
Yes,
that's
it is.
it's gonna what cause this damaging offshore wind. But I'm also monitoring the live weather stations. So far, let's see. Um, yeah, we have gusts in the 60s right on the foot of the San Gabriel Mountains, right north of 210, in the Rancho Cucamonga area. And then let's see what we have right near this where this fire's burning. Yeah, we have a 56 mile an hour wind gust, sustained wind of 32 out of the northeast at Saddle Peak. Saddle Peak. That's right, really close to where that fire's burning. And keep in mind, too, interesting enough, you would be surprised by this. Topanga Beach, guess what wind we have going on there?
What?
A southerly wind gusting to 30 miles an hour. A southerly wind. So we are getting northeasterly wind aloft, and it's curling under. So we're getting a rotary mountain wave developing right here along the coast. So you're getting
In real time.
in real time, yeah. So this southerly wind, and by the way, oh my gosh, and guess what that weather station's reading? 108 degree temperatures. 108. So I bet you that weather station is possibly experiencing some torrentious heat. The air is really hot. And on top of that, you get this southerly wind coming off the ocean, all because of this rotary cloud. This rotary flow developing along Highway 1. On top of that, and yeah, in Malibu, we have another weather station gusting to 62 miles an hour with a sustained wind of 40 miles an hour right now. So that's telling you right now that these winds are going to be a big problem. And once that jet, that 500 millibar jet, which by the way, Brendan, is exceeding 110, 130 knots right now at 500 millibars, and that's rotating over this area by tonight. And so that's going to really exacerbate the wind. But here's a look at the wind, what the Santa Ana wind is going to do. So you could even, oh man, this is well modeled on the HRRR. You can see where the fire is. So the fire is roughly burning right in here. So right about in here is where our fire is burning. And you could imagine, look at these winds at 7 p.m. tonight. So in the next 2 or so hours, we have winds 30 to 45 miles an hour. But look, in Malibu, you have southerly winds, possibly almost 20 miles an hour. And those winds could gust possibly up to 40 miles an hour. Huge, huge rotary wind pattern. Big mountain wave event shaping up. Serious. I mean, this is extraordinary. Steve Verino, 108. That's what the station is showing, and that is a PG&E weather station, I believe. Oh no, that's not. That's a provider at SC Edison. I don't know who that is. What that company is.
I don't know if that's another electrical company. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe.
They're all
Because I do know PG&E. There are portions of LA that do not get power from PG&E, and it's a different provider. Maybe somebody in chat can answer that.
all these are SC Edison, so I'm guessing it's SC Edison is the
Edison?
yeah, I
Could
think
be.
so. Because ours up
I'm not
here in the
100% though.
north.
So somebody from chat would have to confirm if that's legit or not, or if that's correct. But
Yeah, this is pretty extraordinary. And let's go through the model here. And look how this rotary cloud moves offshore. Which, by the way, winds along the coast here, Brendan, could reach speeds of 35 to 50 miles an hour sustained. We're not talking wind gusts, sustained.
Wow.
And wind gusts here between 60 to 80 miles an hour. That's just at 8 o'clock tonight. And as we go overnight, especially around midnight, is when those winds will be in full swing. I'm even a little surprised at the wind on top of the Hollywood hills here. Not as strong, but winds will be gusting over 60 miles an hour. But still a serious windstorm with 40, maybe 50 mile an hour sustained winds. This is the latest HRRR. And actually, they are very strong through 10 in the morning tomorrow, with wind gusts here in the 70s and 80s. And to be specific, some of these winds on top of the San Gabriel Mountains tomorrow. Let's see. Yeah, we got a 95 to 105 mile an hour wind gust potentially. And yeah, wow. Right here in San Antonio Heights, Brendan, at the surface, there could be winds gusting at 80 to 100 miles an hour based on the HRRR.
That's amazing. And David, I'll just add too, for the sake of I guess clarity for the audience. When we talk about modeling winds, especially at high elevations, it's important to note that weather models, because of its spatial and temporal scales, it doesn't resolve those winds very well. So what I actually mean by that, David, and I think you'll agree with me, is that the HRRR, for example, is showing very strong winds, but you have to assume that the HRRR is underdoing it as opposed to overdoing it. So as we've already seen, observed in some spots, we've actually seen winds of over 100 miles an hour, despite the fact that the models themselves were showing 100 or less, right? So that's the important thing I want to let the audience know, is that, weather models, as many of us know, they have limitations. One of them that's not really known to the general public is that it doesn't tend to resolve orography well, meaning these higher elevations. It has a really difficult time doing that. So what we know from these models is strong winds aloft, but what we don't exactly know, and what we have to assume is being underdone, is the strength of the winds, which will likely be stronger than what the model's outputting.
That is correct. And topography, and I'll show you a great example of that, and you'll love my demonstration here. Before that, though, the CAN-SAC WRF, which is, I think it's mainly native specifically. They developed a special model. It's only for California. The WRF is for different areas too, but it's mainly for like Santa Ana wind products, for like windstorms that California gets with winter storms, with offshore wind events. But look at what it's forecasting specifically. This is, I don't know if this is, I think this, valid, UTC. So this is valid. Wait, what? Let me see, making sure I got the right run. I think this should be the right run. This should be the latest output. Yeah, this should be the latest output. So let me click on this. Oh, not that, because that's a different region. Let's click back on this. So this model, I don't know how accurate, but it resolves topography a little bit better. And it is forecasting winds. I don't know how accurate this would be, but this brown that you see on your screen, that's 64 to... Man, that is really hard to read.
Yeah.
That is 75 to 90 miles an hour along the coast here of Malibu, as well as the Hollywood Hills, San Gabriel Mountains, including the San Gabriel Valley, including the San Bernardino Mountains over here. getting some very intense sustained winds. These are sustained winds. These are not wind gusts. I believe these are not wind gusts. Yeah, no, these are not wind gusts. These are sustained winds. This is a very big concern right here. These are sustained winds in the higher elevations, Brendan, over 70 miles an hour, 75 even. In the brown, yeah, in this brown area, that's 70 plus mile an hour sustained winds. And even offshore here, especially overnight tonight, those are sustained winds offshore, right offshore of 50 to 65 miles an hour. Might be a little aggressive, but because of the topography that this resolves better on than the HRRR, this could be realistic. This could actually be sampling this quite well. So some of these higher elevations are about to deal with sustained winds of over 60 tonight, perhaps more than what the HRRR is showing.
Exactly what we just established and talked about, right? We're seeing this in real time, stronger winds on the model output. Doesn't mean the models are bad. It's just a limitation. That's all.
So now Skidley says, how close are you to the wind? Oh, I'm 400 miles away from this. So
Gosh, he is way out of the area. David is safe and well.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about this. Maybe if I drove down there, I'd be a little too close, within 20 or 30 miles. Well, I'd be far away, but I'd be seeing this thing. But yeah, look at the flames coming up. Look at this, Brendan. Look at the flames coming up. You can see it.
This is very intense conflagration we're seeing right now.
And I'm watching these winds in real time right now. Let's see. Still 62. Hanging out there in Backbone Trail, reporting that wind live right now at the moment. See what our San Gabriel Mountain winds are doing. Let's see. We're down below 60, but earlier we had a 70 mile an hour wind gust on the foot of that. Yep. So we'll see if that picks back up. But your favorite part, Brendan, I'm going to actually do a little annotation here. And I'm going to use I'm going to use the tall mountains like I did yesterday. So, Brendan, you're very familiar with mountain waves and mountain wave breaking. And so, in this scenario, this is that type of wind event that will lead to mountain wave breaking because the air is becoming more stable and the air has to forcibly rise and then descend, and then it just ripples and ripples like water, moving over rocks, and then you get these waves behind it, these standing waves. So in this case, the Santa Ana wind that develops tonight, you're going to have very, very strong winds aloft that come down like this. All right. And they just don't come down, but when they come down, they actually go back up. All right. And this is what we call hydraulic jumping. All right. Where you actually get winds that descend, and right on the foot of the mountain sides here, you could actually have winds that are stronger at the foot of the mountain than, say, at the top of the mountain, because you're actually accelerating that air downward due to adiabatic processes, because this is kind of a adiabatic type wind, because we have cold air advection that's going to be moving over these mountains. So you have some adiabatic effects. The air descends and accelerates like it does so, like water through a narrowing pipe, and then it does a hydraulic jump. So yeah, you might be in some areas like right along the foot of these San Gabriel Mountains. So like, just put it into simple words. Right here, let's put this into more 3D. There we go. So you, in this red area, might experience wind gusts maybe 70 to 90 miles an hour, maybe even 100, especially in these canyons where the wind is able to funnel out in this canyon here, even in this canyon. These areas in particular, I'm going to circle these in magenta. these canyons, we could have wind gusts through these canyons accelerating to speeds of 100 plus miles an hour. Okay, because the air wants to descend and it wants to flow right through these narrowing canyons, and boy, it can do it with tremendous force. And then let's just say this: you go to Ontario International Airport, okay, when you're throughout this rotary cloud, when you get this hydraulic jump and it kind of goes over the airport, for an example here, this is not what might actually happen, but could happen under this type of wind event. You might only have winds of, say, 5 to 10, maybe 15 miles an hour, Brendan, with gusts maybe only up to 20 to 35 miles an hour. Yet, literally mere miles away. So let's just measure from Ontario Airport. That's 6 miles away, maybe even 5 miles away to the north. You could have gusts over 100. They never reach the Ontario Airport because of the hydraulic jump and the rotary cloud and the mountain wave event that sets up. So you go from, say, a nice light breeze, a normal breeze, like a breezy summer day, to a monstrous, extreme, downsloping wind event because of that mountain wave. And like I said, through, I don't know what the name of this canyon is, but through these canyons, you can get wind gusts exceeding 120 miles an hour. And I'm not saying that to cause fear, to cause panic. I know my topography very well in fluid dynamics. I don't know every single little bit milk and cranny of fluid dynamics. Probably Brendan knows more than me about this. But
Sure.
I know, and this, oh, there we go. I know enough to where I recognize the dangers of winds like this when they flow up and over and then down through these canyons and they accelerate. All right, because at this given time with these Santa Ana winds, this is a adiabatic wind, which means you get colder air on one side of the mountains. So even if it's like a mere 15 or 20 degrees, that's substantial. On top of a pressure gradient, on top of upper level support of a strong, exceptionally intense 500 millibar, 18,000 foot level jet, smacking these mountains. Mount Baldy here, I believe, is only 10,000 feet. So, yeah, I know my mountains even down there. So, there's going to be a lot of momentum transfer with this because of that cold air advection, that adiabatic wind profile that we see on top of upper level support from a strong jet stream. And it might be some of those cases you do see rotary clouds. You see lenticular clouds. Yeah, lenticular clouds look all awesome from the ground, but if you're an aviation pilot, stay away from those clouds. That marks extreme turbulence for an aviation pilot. And you can see right here these gravity waves, these mountain waves that ripple through the atmosphere. And that gives us context that, wow, the wind is very strong here. And we're going to see more of that, I'm sure, tonight as that gets going. We also have increasing subgravity wave activity over here, too, around the Reno, Nevada area. And you can even see this northerly wind, this flow very strong even over my area. Not as strong as Southern California, but still. So yeah, this is a catastrophic situation right now with this big fire developing. And there it is. Wow. Look at the flames.
David, and David, in translation, for folks watching, what David's really trying to say is that mountains can do some really crazy stuff to your weather in terms of enhancing. Even so much so to where we're seeing winds, as we've talked about, exceeding over 100 miles an hour. And by the way, if you're not somebody that follows wildfire, another great example is what we saw with Hurricane Helene. That was orographic enhanced flooding, what we saw in the Appalachians. So plenty of examples in the weather sphere of how mountains can really enhance locally the environment for these events.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we should get a new update on the Palisades fire hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Okay, they updated it a minute ago. I think it's just evacuation updates. So evacuation warning has been issued for zone TOP U005 per the... Okay, so this is the evacuation map, I guess. Wow, they expanded this westward. So there's an evacuation warning now for evacuation zone TOP U007. So top U007 under an evacuation warning at the moment. This was updated, it looks like a minute ago. So they are actively updating these. So if you're in evacuation warning, I believe a warning means you need to be aware that you may have to evacuate really soon. And then an evacuation order means you have to get out of your house now. Do not wait. Okay? Fires kill people. Fires do kill people. So don't be a victim.
By the way, David, unconfirmed reports of this. This was actually just within the hour. Looking to get confirmation on this, but what I am seeing from a few sources on the social medias is people that were evacuating in the Palisades or within that vicinity. There were, in many cases, people abandoning their cars. So people that were evacuating under evacuation order were traveling by car, and many of those folks were stuck because of traffic and abandoned their cars completely. So we are seeing some unconfirmed reports of that. I'll continue to look through and try to verify that for you, David, but I don't think that would shock me in the slightest, considering the rapid conflagration of this fire, how quickly it's spreading.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we just got a new wind gust report out of Backbone Trail, reporting a gust of 58, a sustained wind of 32, temperature is 57. Dew point, yeah, 16 degrees, makes a relative humidity of 20%, but the descending nature of these winds, the air heats up on the other side. So, yeah, the humidity is almost in the single digits where this fire is burning right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty dry.
By the way, chat, if you have any questions, continue to post those. We'll be happy to get to those in the order they're received. So again, any questions, anything, I know many of you here, or even some of you may have loved ones impacted. So happy to answer anything as it relates to the ongoing events in the Palisades. Feel free to post those questions.
Also, hit the like button if you are new to the YouTube channel, because I'm about to have my major winter storm video out at 5:30. Maybe that will have to be pushed back a little bit. We'll see. But it will be out soon. But huge not pyrocumulus, but a huge pyro smoke plume going up in the air right now. Right now. Huge. Oh, yeah, that's blowing up right now. Oh, my goodness, yeah. That is burning pretty significantly, so. Oh, and here's another. Oh, this is the same view, looks like. Oh, no, this is a different view. Oh, my goodness, look at the flames. There are actually flames making it over to the ocean already. There are flames, I think. And look at right up in front here, we have some intense flames already in progress. That is that's burning really hot. Wow. That's really black smoke. Oh my gosh.
And chat, just for context as well, keep in mind the Palisades in Malibu, I mean, this general area is primarily consists of very expensive homes. So certainly, I mean, of course, lives are the most top priority, but when this is all said and done, cost could be rather high.
That wind direction just changed briefly. It looks like the fire's actually accelerating towards the camera. You can see the flame front moving towards the camera from where it was before. So I wonder if there's a local wind change that has occurred.
I would agree, David. I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Wow. And this is how it looked early on. Oh yeah, and by the way, you can see more of the beach, but as this camera progresses, as that fire grows, watch how that bluff slowly disappears into the smoke. But as the fire really blows up this afternoon and evening, you can see how that smoke really starts covering. It's definitely made less. You can't even really see the bluff anymore. All shrouded in smoke. Oh, so this is something very concerning, Brendan, what Rose Thomas said in chat. You there?
I'm listening.
Okay. So he said, I'm watching it live, and there was a press conference announcing that the evacuation warnings and the water bombers, so those would be the jet planes, the helicopters, and whatnot, will not fly in extreme winds. So, in other words,
Good point.
I don't know if they're flying. Maybe they are still flying out there. But by tonight and by tomorrow, because the winds will be pretty insane tomorrow morning, right at sunup. And so that means there's not going to be any aircraft out there at all until maybe tomorrow afternoon when the winds settle down enough.
And that is an excellent call out by one of the viewers on that. Excellent. Because you know what? That totally went over my head. And David, it makes me wonder, and I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of Cal Fire, right? And how they're going to handle this. I think we already have a sense based upon the press conference, but I mean, from that, you would think they're going to unfortunately have to let this burn until tomorrow. I mean, and it's not a matter of neglecting. I mean, of course, there's going to be first responders that are going to try to help evacuate as much people as possible. But in terms of taming the fire itself, David, I think they're pretty much out of options. Because again, I didn't think about that. That's such an amazing call out. I don't know what much they can do tonight other than just help people evacuate. They're going to have to just let this thing burn. As crappy as that sounds.
And look how.
I mean, David, what can they really do? I mean, they can't win this fight on the ground game.
No, they can't.
You know.
And gosh, these smoke clouds are being thrown up to about 11,000 feet right now.
Man. Yeah, good. Great point.
You can see based on radar. I'm looking at it on radar, and wow, you could totally see it. Literally. Can see where the fire's burning. That is some thick smoke for that to happen. And there is a local wind shift. There is actually a local wind shift right here where the fire's burning.
Yeah, and David, can you I'm putting you on the spot here. Can you talk a little bit more about what you think could be causing that wind shift? I mean, what's your thoughts on that sudden change?
I'm guessing it's the fire itself. With air rising like that, there could be a rotary cloud wave or mountain wave developing. But secondly, it could just be all the heat from the fire being rising up to into the atmosphere, and then you get descending air downwind that rushes in to replace that. That's why we have a southerly wind right along the coast here locally. There is a southerly wind, which is weird. It is really weird to see that with the Santa Ana wind in the first place. But that's what's causing the wind shift, and that's based on the velocities. There is some green here, which indicates that the flow is moving toward, so coming in toward the radar site, but slower. And then you got flow moving away from the radar site. That's in red. So we have this northeasterly flow pushing the smoke that way. I'm going to be streaming for probably, I don't know yet. Probably not that long, because this was kind of a pop-up stream. But I am going to be uploading my video at 5:30, so I'll probably be done just before then. I just wanted to give you all a quick update on this, because, I mean, it popped up fast, and yeah, look at this. I mean, look at the red glow in the sky, even some red right here. So there is fire right here as we speak. Not just up here blowing all the smoke this way. There is fire burning right there. We'll see, easy peasy. Yeah, most likely. We'll see how models handle that winter storm.
Yeah, that's a good foreshadow for David's video that will be dropping soon, like he said. Another interesting conversation. I will say, as another cliffhanger, David, this same trough we're looking at it's pretty much responsible for this wildfire is also going to be responsible for that surface low that develops associated with that potential winter storm near the Red River Valley and the Dallas Metroplex, and also points downstream into the Middle Tennessee Valley. So a lot of interconnection between these different events, as you're going to find. More on that later on, David, with your video. Not to give any spoilers away.
Yeah, my video will be dropping here in the next 15 minutes. So I'll probably be ending this in a few minutes, so you all can go watch that video. Not that I don't care about fires. I wanted to fit this in really quickly with the fire that's burning right now. This is, as of right now, it is 1,261.5 acres, so about 1,262 acres, and there's no containment. This fire is fully out of control. Firefighters cannot control the fire at all. And with the winds expected to gust over 70 to 80 tonight, there's no containment expected on this. I'd be very surprised to wake up and if it's like at 1 or 2% contained. Maybe on the northern side, they may contain that because we'll be able to handle that more because winds are blowing from the northeast. So they'll probably get fire lines going there, but like downwind of this, like, what is this? Like coastal 1, downstream of this, yeah. Fire is not going to be contained anytime soon, unfortunately. And just to put this...
And David... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, David. My bad.
And just to put this into context, that doesn't look very far, but that's another 2 miles that this is burning. And it looks like where that camera is situated, right where that camera is situated, it is burning. I believe it's burning this area right now. This whole area is on fire. Yeah, I believe this whole area right here is on fire right now. Because based on where our camera is located, looking at that whole... Actually, that's a big beach area. Yeah, so this whole area is on fire. Santa Ynez Lake, Inkaville, is on fire at the moment because of this offshore wind. And yeah, this is pretty substantial. Let me actually update this. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, this is really bad. It's very ominous looking. So if you guys did like the stream, please like the stream and also hit the bell icon because you will get another notification from me in about 10 minutes as I release my next video here on the channel on that upcoming major significant winter storm. There have been some notable changes to the forecast. What are those changes to the forecast? Please watch my video at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I saved the video for last because it's prime time. Everyone literally has uploaded their video already on YouTube. So best for last, I am waiting. That's why this video has been scheduled to go live on the channel at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. But yeah, in the short term, bad news for California tonight. Damaging historic offshore wind event, something that Southern California has not witnessed since December 1st, 2011, I believe, or it was November 30th. I remember it was that night of the 30th into the 1st of December, that night of. And that was the last time Southern California had their worst offshore wind event ever, and that was last seen in November 30th to December 1st, 2011. So it's been about 14 years since we have had a wind event of that magnitude, and we'll see. This could even exceed that, depending on how much damage gets done with this windstorm. All right, but anyways, thank you all for tuning in to the live stream on this wildfire concern that is taking place right now on the Palisades fire. Please follow all evacuation warnings and orders. If you are told to evacuate, please don't ignore the warnings that are given to you because they are for your own good and safety. This fire is growing out of control at an astonishing rate right now. And if you are near this fire within miles, you need to evacuate if told to do so. That's going to wrap it up for this emergency live session on the Palisades fire for Southern California, everyone. Extreme offshore winds tonight. Please stay safe. Have flashlights ready because I'm sure a lot of people will be without power by tomorrow morning. All right. Have a great night. Watch my video at 5:30 in about 6 or so minutes. Peace out, folks.